Welcome back. This is lesson 4.7. We're using unit rates. I will be able to correctly find and use unit rates to find missing values for real-life situations. Vocabulary for this lesson, we have ratio, which is comparing two quantities by division. Rate, which means when you have a ratio that has two different units in it. Unit rate means for one of a certain unit, and proportion is setting two ratios equal to each other. So I want you to memorize this statement. If I can find out how much for one, then I can find out how much for any amount. Aaliyah bought 3 video games that were the same price for a total of $87. Her brother bought 8 games. How much money did her brother spend? Explain your reasoning using the bar model. Okay, so Aaliyah bought 3 of them. So this right here, this whole thing cost $87. So what am I going to do mathematically to figure out how much one of those video games cost? I can take 87 and divide it by 3. So over here, 87 divided by 3. 3 goes into 8 2 times, minus 6, going to leave me with 2, bring down the 7. 3 goes into 27 9 times, minus 27 gives me 0. So that means each game costs $29. So let's fill those in, 29, 29, and 29. If her brother bought 8 of those games, then we're going to have $29 here, 2, 3, 4. So each one of these is $29. How is knowing the price of one game going to be useful if I want to find the price of 8 games? Well, this is just 8 times 29, isn't it? So, if 3 games cost $87, so you see my games and dollars, we found out that one game, all we did was divide this by 3, cost $29. Then I can use that ratio, I can times by 8 to figure out that 8 games is going to be 29 times 8. Let's do the math. 9 times 8 is 72. Regroup 7. 2 times 8 is 16. 16 plus 7 is going to be 23. Her brother spent a whopping $232 on games. But you can see how this bar model can help us figure that out. So the whole cost was $232. Okay, let's try this bar model. A printer can print 16 papers in 8 minutes. How many minutes will have passed if 21 papers have been printed? Explain your reasoning and use a bar model. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes, and all of this is 16 papers. So if all of this is 16 papers and 8 minutes have passed, how much would each one of these represent? 16 divided by 8, or papers per minute, right? 16 divided by 8 is 2, so that means I can do 2 papers here, 2 here, 2 here, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2 papers. So 2 papers every minute. So, how many minutes have passed if 21 papers have been printed? Well, if that's 16 papers, I can draw onto this bar model. This would be 18 papers. That'd be 9 minutes. 10 minutes would be 2 more papers. So that would mean that for 1 paper, is going to be half a minute. For 1, right? So how many minutes have passed? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 minutes and half of another minute. So for 21 papers, that would mean it took 10.5 minutes. Okay, see how we can find by finding the ratio, the unit rate for 1. So for every 1 minute is 2 papers. I can use that to figure out any amount. Okay, that's how to look at a bar model. Now let's look at how to do a proportion. Angie's car used 12 gallons of gas to go 372 miles. Based on this, how far can she go on? All right. So if I'm going to find the unit rate, let's first write down what we have. So we're comparing 372 miles. Okay, if I'm putting miles up here, I'm putting miles up here as well. And 372 miles went with 12 gallons of gas. So here we're finding the unit rate. So I want to know for 1 gallon of gas. What do I need to do to go from 12 to 1? Okay, I'm going to be dividing by 12. Well, if I divide that by 12, I have to divide this by 12. So I'm going to go down to see how many miles I can go on 1 gallon of gas. So 372 divided by 12. 12 squeezes into 3. It doesn't. 12 squeezes into 37 3 times, minus 36. It's going to leave me with 1. Bring down the 2. I get 12. 12 goes into 12 one time. 1 times 12 is 12. That leaves me with 0. So in other words, that would be 31 miles for every 1 gallon of gas. Well, knowing that, then I can bring this unit rate, so 31 miles for 1 gallon of gas. See how I'm using my proportion? Now it asks how far she could go on 7 gallons of gas. So if I'm going on 7 gallons of gas, what do I need to do to 1 to turn it into 7 now? So if I can do 1 times 7, that means I'm going to do 31 times 7 to figure out how many miles we can travel in that, with that amount of gas. So 31 times 7, 7 times 1 is 7. 7 times 3 is 21. So in other words, she could travel 217 miles on 7 gallons of gas. Okay, let's try that same idea for these other two. Manuel sold 7 identical coins for $847. At this rate, how much could he sell for 13 of those coins so far? So let's find the unit rate. We know $847, and that was for 7 coins. Now it doesn't matter which one I put on top or which one I put on bottom, as long as these match. So if dollars is here, I'm going to put dollars over here. That would mean coins has to be on the bottom. Now what else do I know? I want for 1 coin. 7 to get to 1, that means I had to divide by 7, right? So I'm going to divide 847 by 7. Okay, to save us a little bit of time and space, I'm going to let you use a calculator for the rest of these. So 847 divided by 7 means each coin was worth $121. So now using that, set up another proportion, so $121, and that's just for 1 coin. Now we can use that to figure out for 13 coins, because that's what it's asking us for. So now what do I need to do to go from 1 to 13? I'm going to times by 13. So I'm going to times 121 by 13. You may use your calculator for this. 121 times 13, $1,573. $1,573 for 13 coins. Okay, last one. Heidi needs 14 minutes to read 4 pages of her textbook. At that rate, how many minutes will it take her to read 10 pages? So, we have 4 pages and 14 minutes. Okay, as long as these are the same, so this will be pages up here, minutes down here. Now, the part we don't know, or we will know, is pages, so I want to figure out for 1 page. So I'm going to make this 1 page. Let's figure out how many minutes it takes for 1 page. And the reason I'm choosing that is because I'm going to know how many pages in a minute, so I want to find a unit rate per page, so I can times it by 10 in a minute. So 4 to 1 is dividing by 4. That means I have to divide this by 4. 14 divided by 4, go ahead and do that on your calculator. It's not going to turn out perfect, but it'll be an easy decimal to work with. We get 3.5, or 3.5 minutes. So, we have a unit rate. Let's use that unit rate in this proportion. So 1 page takes 3.5 minutes. So, to go from 1 page to 10 pages now, I'm going to be multiplying by 10. So let's multiply this by 10. 3.5 times 10, that one should be an in your head kind of problem. Anytime you times by 10, it moves a decimal over once. So that means 35 minutes is needed to read 10 pages. All right. Rate yourself on this concept, 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4. Take a picture of the whole page and turn it in on your passport.